likes to knock off the pillows. I think he does it by accident, but... That 10 minutes went by quick. I think next week I'm gonna give Dad $50. Next pay period. You hush it, lady. I'm taking a piss. I got personal Nell things going on in here, so you just hush it. Dr. Swansea's message. Dear Jonathan, I asked Nurse Crane to secure an office for you on the second floor. Please forgive the austere decoration, but Pembroke Hospital is not exactly the Ritz. Sorry to let you discover your office alone, but I need to sleep a little before going back to work. I'm just a mere mortal after all. I also gave orders to let you rest, and for the staff to never enter your room. You'll be able to sleep all day without being disturbed and work at night without raising any suspicion. I'm afraid the place is quite messy, but you'll be able to conduct your experiments here at your own pace. You'll also notice that there is an open window with a scaffolding that will allow you to enter or exit the hospital without being noticed. Hush, Crane, I'm trying to read a letter here. I imagine how awfully new and disturbing this all must be for you. Believe me, I have studied enough of your species to understand what you must now be facing and feeling. Be assured, I'll do whatever I can to help you. I've lost my place. To help you in this ordeal. Know that you're not completely alone facing it. I'm glad I met you. These dark times we are all presently facing, I hope our future collaboration will yield great results. Welcome to Pembroke, my esteemed colleague. We shall talk soon. Yours sincerely, Edgar Griffith Swansea. P.S. I left a copy of some of my notes concerning what I have discovered about Icon in last few years. Feel free to read about it if you need some guidance, as long as you don't use this knowledge to take advantage of me. Alright, let's go in here and confront Crane. She's being impatient.
Hurry up.
You hush, lady. I'm gonna smack you with a fish. Yeah.
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
Sorry. There's nothing here.
Some of the patients won't last the night without them. Honestly, sir, I'm beside myself.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse.
She said she was beside herself. I don't believe it. I only saw one of her. What's that even mean? I'm beside myself. No, you're not. I only see one. So weird. She's crazy. I know what you meant, though. I'm just being silly. Just being retarded. Now I'm gonna kind of...
It's locked, all right.
And it's always been locked. Let's see.
It's locked.
Damn it. Two small bottles.
Fear and disgust on
I wonder what
every
your last
street
thought.
corner.
Just talk to this
Good
lady.
evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, it was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of pustulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Ugh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
I wonder what your last thoughts would be, sir.
I thought Majadi would come back and watch after 10 minutes, but he hasn't hopped back in yet.
Fear and disgust on every street corner.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
Why do you feel responsible for the injury, Thomas? What really happened?
I wasn't disfigured by any German shells. It happened during my leave. It was an accident.
Why lie about it?
Come on. It's one thing to come back disfigured by the Germans, and it's another to get injured in an accident that could have happened to anybody.
Reconstructive surgery has been very successful for some soldiers.
I don't want to wear a bloody mask for the rest of my life. I'd rather stay here and just be forgotten.
Ah, crap.
Tell me what really happened then.
I went with a whore in Rouen. Dead drunk I was. The hotel was a shithole. There was a fire that night.
Did you start the fire? Were you trying to avoid going back to the front? That's not uncommon, you know.
No. It's just that I was asleep when the flames reached the room. The girl was long gone. Bitch never woke me up. Left me to burn.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Great.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Damn. The pain.
Welcome back.
Here again.
If that's you,
I wish I
Majani.
could be sick again. Feel my blood boil with the fever.
I need to go up and make some stuff for fatigue. Try to chat with the staff.
How can we be sure we're making a difference?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Stanley, put my glasses back on here.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later. Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True, true. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Is that you, Majani, watching? Or is this a new viewer watching me today? If you're a new viewer to my channel, thanks for watching and checking out my channel.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
I ordered this polyester shirt from this website off of Facebook that was making shirts themed off of God of War that I was playing a while back, beginning of last month. And I think it was 2 or 3 days ago I checked my email. I had to send them another email saying, where is my product that I ordered? And they finally shipped it like a couple of days ago. So it should be arriving at my house hopefully sometime this week. They had so many orders for the God of War themed shirts that they make that they were just like blown away of how many orders they had, and it was taking, I guess it was taking a while to complete everybody's order.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable, and your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work. and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Ackroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is, I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
My sweet girl. Reads me like a book. I never could keep anything from her.
Basically what I'm doing now is just, I'm going around the hospital, meeting all the characters that I can talk to and getting to know them. The only person I'm probably going to kill in this playthrough is
I will not let you down, my boy.
Cox. Is this guy, once I try to unravel his story. I will probably only just kill him. Or not. Yeah, I'll probably kill him. He's an asshole. Okay.
I cannot enter.
What the hell? That's a first. I've never had anybody shut the door on me.
It's locked.
That no one. I've never had anybody shut the door. I was about to go in there and talk to the two people in there. One's the patient, one's his mom, the mother of the patient. Alright, let's go to the, I gotta go to the morgue.
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate. Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed. Can I be of any help?
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father. Ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
dear love. I finally found the missing money for the fee asked by the ambulance driver to bring you to the hospital. Don't worry about nothing now except getting better, for I took care of everything. I asked some of our neighbors, and they told me that this Mr. Hooks is something of an honest crook. He may ask for extra money in exchange for a bed, but the bed is then guaranteed. I'm sorry I refused to pay first, and I realize now that the important thing is that you get better soon. The Pembroke Hospital is a good place, I heard, despite the bad behavior of this Milton Hooks. I promise you that everything is okay now. I'll see you in your clean bed as soon as as possible. With fondest love, Nicole. Oh.
I'm sorry you ended up on my plain and cold medical bench, sir. I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague? Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean? You used to be a doctor. Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main
bring me
morgue
a
was still open.
orange bubbly?
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
Thank you, baby.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
That's refreshing.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
She was, until I accidentally killed her. Well, until Jonathan accidentally killed her.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy.
Pardon me.
I like to help.
Pardon me. Didn't mean to burp. Bubbly.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
My wife just handed me a handful of peanuts.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news is, we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
So you're ready to die?
No, I am not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidana.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man. But I like to think otherwise.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Cool.
It never ceases to amaze me how you, the dead, seem peaceful and lost at the same time.
So he talks to the dead when he's by himself. If I could live forever, I probably would. But I would probably want my wife to join me. And I'd be lonely. If technology got advanced enough before I still had a healthy brain and was still alive, I would like to have my consciousness and my everything that makes me me transferred to like a android body or robot body or something. So where is that? Ooh. Let's go to the morgue first, and then I'll travel back down to the docks for the pharmacy to get whatever is needed down there.
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
See if I can sneak up on them. here in Tennessee, we didn't have much of a spring. It went from like winter to summer within a couple of days. And I was hoping for some spring weather where it was like 65 degrees outside, a nice cool breeze on a day off. Was wanting to go out there and like put some new speakers in my car that I bought last year. But it was like way too hot to be outside taking my door panels off, putting in new speakers. I didn't want to be sweating to death while out there trying to work on my car, wiping sweat from my brow every few minutes. And now it's too hot. And mosquitoes are like crazy bad in my around my house. Checking Facebook here. Man, one of my friends, he posts like 50 things within an hour on Facebook, and it just, my notifications go crazy on my phone. Can't go down there yet, so I gotta go upstairs.
Balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful. Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza.
I think this would make a pretty good TV show. Based in 1918, main character Jonathan Reed, who gets bit by some vampire who his identity is unknown. And so the doctor struggles with his moral choices now being a vampire, but yet being a doctor who took an oath as a doctor to heal people and not hurt anybody. I can't think of the damn doctor code. To form no ill will or whatever. And so he's trying to investigate and to figure out this disease that's spreading, like, that's worse than the Spanish flu, that's turning people into these skulls, which it seems. I think that'd be a pretty good TV show.
This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
I think that'd be a... Uh-oh. Shot through the heart, you too late. Being a vampire rocks. Just know how it goes, but I don't care. That door's locked, can't get inside. I'm gonna go upstairs. See what's up here. Just one body. I think I can't get through these doors. A couple of watery rich. See, it pays to explore. If you don't explore, you're not gonna get much stuff. Because those two watery things will help with making antidotes and... What the fuck was that? Something vanished. Oh yeah, I think I have a boss fight down here if I remember correctly. Don't you think it would make a good TV show? Hang on a second, I want to look up the actor who does the voice of this character in this video game and see if he looks anything like his character that he plays in this game, or does the voice for I used to have the app, but I don't use it so often, so I removed it. Anthony Howe, I think, is the character, or the actor who plays Jonathan. He's a few years older than you, honey. Yeah. I guess he could play him if he had a beard and darkened his hair. He's skinny, got short brown hair, light brown hair. He was in a TV show called The Medic. Or a film called The Medic. Back in the 15th century. Huh. He did some voice work for or Horizon Zero Dawn. Played some character named Bahavas. Mass Effect, he was additional voices in that. He mostly does voice work for video games. Okay.
These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not after blood.
So they're kind of like zombies. Huh? Yeah, it's further down. I'll get to it in a bit here. Yeah, a TV show based off this game, if it was done right, could really be good. And if they put it on the CW network or maybe Sci-Fi, and it had a good special effects team and
It's
writers
locked, all right.
and directors and producers, casting director and everything, it could be a pretty good TV show. I'd watch it. It's funny how some rooms don't have anything in them. Knocked me off my feet. Killed him too. Right after he knocked me off my feet, I killed him. I think I was just in here. Yeah, I went through that door. Oh, there's something over here. Oh,
It's locked.
used Linston knife. Absorbs blood. He just acquired a new type of offhand weapon. Office of Pembroke Hospital Medical Examiner report to investigation. Samuel Connor, race Caucasoid? Fast progressing pneumonia by virus induced pulmonary consolidation, Spanish influenza. Dr. Connery and Tibbets, Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Connor and Tibbets.
Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this.
Here comes the boss fight. Die. Yep. I may have to switch to my other weapon that I found, or my offhand weapon, and use my machete or whatever it is. Guys, challenging. You have been defeated. You will find that there's very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been something. I didn't read it fast enough. You have been offered a second chance, or whatever. Vampyr. I thought someone was behind me. Cool. Can I use 2 weapons? Guess we'll see. Or maybe I can switch it up. Let's see, like... Yeah. I didn't know that. Just figured that out. Now these enemies are alive again. I just learned something new. Oh, I killed him.
These scowls can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Sodium hypochlorite. Dangerous to administer, but efficient in the proper dosage.
Hypochlorite. I keep forgetting how to pronounce that. I've been meaning to send Frost an invite on Discord, a friend invite. On her Discord channel, is her name Frost? Or is she titled under a different handle on Discord than she is in Paragon Chat? And I haven't been on Paragon Chat since my last radio show, to be honest. I just don't have time. Now I can make stuff for pneumonia, bronchitis, the common cold. Okay. I was curious if you did or not. If you're ever in Discord and you see her in there, if you ever remember to ask her for me, I would like to befriend her on Discord. Maybe try to get Crash and maybe her to watch me play video games on YouTube or Twitch in the future. Man, I still need 2 more common trigger parts. Upgrade that. Decrease the stamina. Let's see. Was biters, but there's nothing like that on Discord. Okay. I'll have to log into Paragon Chat maybe later today and then see if there's anyone on that I recognize. I really have no reason to get on Paragon Chat anymore, since I haven't done my show in like months. I'm sure DJ Angel would probably welcome me back if I wanted to come back, but I don't really get along with a couple of the DJs on there. I feel, in my personal opinion, they got very big sticks up their butts and take things way too literally. We've bumped heads almost ever since I started with Cape Radio. About a week after I started with Cape Radio, we've been bumping heads. It's like they have no sense of humor whatsoever. Damn. Damn, he fucked me up. I have to switch to my machete. I got fucked up. The day that I quit, I got so pissed at Nexus and Amethyst I just get so fed up and tired of their bullshit. I don't know if you saw the chat that day, but I had, like, told a joke. Really? Yeah, I like DJ Phoenix. He's a cool guy. I always enjoyed his shows as well. Phoenix's show and DJ Judge. Judge is a cool, close friend of mine. Even though I've never physically met the guy because he lives in California and I live in Tennessee. But I've known Judge since like 2005. He's a good guy. And Phoenix seems like a good guy too. Yeah, or breaking her finger. I said, oh, really? Yeah, I said, well, today, Amethyst broke her finger, but on the other hand, she's completely fine, which was a joke. I never got a chance to listen to Winter's show, but I'm sure it was pretty good. And, I even put a little tongue-in-cheek emoji at the end of that joke. And a little bit later, I guess Nexus was at work or not in the same place where Amethyst was, and he was like freaking out. Oh my god, what? What happened? And then Amethyst was like, Thunder, quit scaring my husband. Do you honestly think if Amethyst broke her finger in reality, she would contact me first? Or her husband? Why would you freak out in chat about that? Especially reading and seeing the little tongue-in-cheek emoji at the end of my statement, or my joke. Which, apparently he didn't get the joke. Common sense, my friend. Common sense. That shit annoys the hell out of me. Do you honestly think that Amethyst would call me or contact me first? Oh my god, Thunder, I broke my finger. And not tell anybody else. So fucking retarded. Pardon my French. I just thought that was incredibly stupid. And I was like, really? You serious? And he was like, deadly. I remember the whole conversation. And then he wanted to cry about it. Angel, scroll up and read the chat. Thunder's being mean. I mean, for incredibly smart people, I mean, I believe Amethyst and Nexus intelligently are pretty smart. Intelligently, you know? Their vocabulary is quite good, and they seem like they're intelligent, smart people, but common sense, not too great with Nexus, for sure, and most likely Amethyst. I seriously, they seriously lack in common sense. To be honest, in my personal opinion, which was so frustrating and stressful to me. Nexus uses like 5 different microphones on his computer for different things. He uses one microphone for gaming, one microphone for doing his radio show, and 3 other microphones for different other reasons. Huh. Cool. I've never had problems with other DJs before in the past. Amethyst and Nexus, after about a week or so of being a part of the station, were causing me to have anxiety and a small amount of stress. I was just like, what is wrong with these people? Amethyst constantly nitpicking on stuff that I had said or put on Discord. It's like as soon as they all switched over to the Discord thing, they had all these nitpicking rules that you had to abide by, and if you put something in the wrong channel, they cried about it, like it was gonna ruin the world. I was just like, oh my god. And if I try to listen to the judge's show, but sometimes I forget, which was probably today, which I totally forgot about listening to because I was doing this. Thought I saw something flashing over there. You gotta really keep your eyes open for scraps, parts, and you figured he would aim at the guy even if he was on the ground. I'm a big person on common sense and being aware of your surroundings. And people that don't have a whole lot of common sense and are aware of the surroundings, I kind of get a little annoyed by that. Which is something I deal with on a daily basis in my occupation. I had 2 people yesterday at my job at the mall walk up to me and ask me if I worked there. And I was like, yeah. And the day I bought the 2 cheeseburgers at Burger King, I went over there after I clocked out. I still had my uniform on, of course. Otherwise I'd be naked. I didn't have my hat on, because I'm not supposed, I leave my hat in my locker when I leave work. And employees at Burger King in the mall that I work at get a 10% discount. And when I was paying for 2 cheeseburgers that I got, the cashier was like, "Do you work here?" And I'm like, "Yeah. Do you see this right here? Security? Yeah." And I had 2 customers yesterday when I was walking around the mall ask me if I worked there. And I'm like, yeah. Ah, great. Really? Really? Of course, when the really? The 2 customers asked me if I worked there. I was just like, yeah. But I wasn't smart about it or rude. I was just like, yes, I work here. What gave it away? I didn't say that, but it drives me nuts. I cringe on the inside when people ask me that at work. I'm walking around in a white dress shirt with a name tag, or a name tag here, a badge that says security officer on it, a pen in my pocket, and a patch on each shoulder that says Allied Universal Security, a utility belt, a radio hanging on my shoulder and around my waist. You know, I'm not a smart ass to customers at the mall, but I'm polite and courteous. But man, on the inside, I'm just like rolling my eyes. Yeah. Yes, I work here. I had this memory when I was like 18 years old. I worked at a theme park here in Nashville, Tennessee that no longer exists because now it's a mall. It was Arpland USA, and I was an area host. I walked around with a pan and broom in hand, in theme park uniform, navy blue shorts, and a light blue and white striped shirt. And I had a name badge. It said Arpland USA, Toby. And this customer walked up to me and said, "Excuse me, sir, do you work here?" And then there was a young lady sitting on a park bench. I was about right here in the park, and then there was a young lady sitting on a park bench nearby. And after that lady asked me that question, the lady on the bench was like, "No, he just likes to walk around with a pan and broom in his hand." I smiled, you know, and that lady that asked me that was just like, she said something back to the lady on the bench. I don't know what she said, but it was hilarious. It was priceless. I think people ask that question, but they don't really mean to ask that. They just, I don't know. It's just the first thing that pops out of their mouth. Instead of saying, "Hi, excuse me, can you help me?" They have this thought, like they want to make sure that you work there. I mean, but that was pretty blatantly obvious. A guy walking around with a pan and broom and a name tag on his shirt. And of course the uniform, the clothing that I was wearing was also blatantly obvious that I worked there. Alright, I'm gonna go to this pharmacy over here. My back is killing me. Ugh. Too much coffee, I think. Oh, these guys. Oof. Level 10, level 5. Alright, let's go back to the hospital. I'm gonna evolve, I guess is the word. I might have a bowl of cereal here in a little bit, even though it's a bit lunchtime or after lunch.
Please, I feel sick. Get over here now.
Good evening, Mr. Cox.
Dr. Reed. Still working at night, I see. I like that.
And why is that?
People who don't sleep at night always seem more alive to me. More interesting, one way or another.
Do you ever think about that poor fellow I saw you push in the water?
The wound he gave me will make sure I don't forget him. Still fucking hurts. Boss had cut me good.
That man was determined to murder you. You almost died.
What a surprise. The first time I met him, he nearly shit himself. Fucking coward. I guess revenge gives you balls.
What did he want? Revenge?
I recently had to kill his brother. Poor arsehole thought it would be easy to return the favor.
You're a monster, Mr. Cox. An ungrateful and disgusting man.
I'm the toughest bastard you'll ever meet, Dr. Reed. And I don't give a fuck what you think of me.
That's just why I killed him. Because he doesn't give a shit.
How is your hospitalization going, Mr. Cox?
This is a shitty place with shitty staff. But as long as I'm treated all right, I'll be fine.
What's wrong with the Pembroke staff?
That bastard you sent to bring me here, Milton. I thought he was going to break all my bones before I reached my bed.
I see. Any other smart comments?
The nurses aren't too ugly. Especially that foxy one, Nurse Crane. Pretty brunette, tough attitude, all like that.
What's wrong with the hospital?
Come on, Dr. Reed. The place is a dump. Smelly, sad, and dirty.
But you're alive thanks to the efforts and dedication of the staff here, aren't you?
What are you expecting, a medal? I thought that saving lives was just part of the job. Must be an unsatisfactory profession at this time, I'm sure.
How long do you think you can escape the law, Clay?
I know this city like the back of my hand, Doc. I know its streets, who to pay, who to avoid, and who to bully. I won't get caught.
The police may be slow, but they will find you eventually.
Well, how come you didn't turn me in then? Nah, Doc. I figure you have something to hide so you can't ask the coppers for help.
Ah! I failed it again.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
I should have chose a different dialogue option. And see, I couldn't go back. I can't reload the game and get a chance for a different dialogue option. Once you've made your choice, it's done.
What's that do? What's that do?
He's fatigued. I'll just see if I can make a cure for tiredness, because most of them will start getting tired, and you'll have to give them medicine to keep them healthy. Eventually, I'm gonna kill that bastard. I'm tired of your shit, Clay. What the fuck did you do? All the bloody docs are gossiping about how my husband has just gut this stupid kid. How many times did I tell you to count to 20 before drawing your blade? How can we expect to do proper business and have a proper and people obey if you keep on killing everyone who dares cross you? Now, rumor says some blokes from the dead's family are looking for you, and one of them even swore to kill you. Don't come home tonight. I've seen strange men patrolling the streets. They may be some commie militia or something like that sent to arrest you. Go to a safe place for a few days. Maybe go to the hospital or Whitechapel. Make yourself useful for once by checking if any business could be settled over there. When the situation is calmer, I'll send a wet boot boy so that you know how to come back. Edwina. It's his wife.
Hey, Doc.
Am I right to assume your wife's letter pissed you off, Clay?
I was so mad I threw away the knife she got me when we got married.
Your wife gave you a knife as a wedding present.
That knife has always been my lucky charm. If I'd had it in my hand when I got stabbed on that pier, I'd not have been wounded.
Do you want it back?
I don't need it here, but if you'd be kind enough to bring it to me, I'd be really grateful.
A grateful Clay Cox? I might just find your knife and bring it back to you to see that happen.
I can give you directions, but I'd be surprised if you managed to find it. My hideout isn't meant to be found easily.
A lucky charm? I never would have taken you as the superstitious type.
We all have our flaws, Doc. Mine's to have my weapon of choice for when the really dirty business comes around.
What can you tell me about your marriage, Clay?
Marriage is the sweetest cage, they say. Well, I found myself locked in one with a wild animal.
You mean your wife keeps you on your toes?
No, I mean, we both have claws and we both love to bite.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
Alright.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
The lady's stuck.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
She's dancing.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good.
She's doing the
But
robot.
during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If
She likes
was
doing
a
the
man,
robot.
She would be a damn fine practitioner.
She also likes doing the robot too.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
And I thought last summer's epidemic was difficult.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything. And it's getting worse every day.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job. but I get it done. Most of the time.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital? That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Tell me why you're extorting money from some of the patients here.
If a patient wants a bed, he'll have to pay me a little fee. That's all.
Where did you get the idea for such an immoral scam?
Funny you should ask. The first time it was from a patient who bribed me to get a bed. It's only then I realized I could make a fortune.
I have some good news, Milton.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet with all the money and a certain picture.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the difference of skin color that bothers you?
Not at all, Milton.
Good. Please, take this money anyway. To remind you to keep your mouth shut. Not everybody is as broad-minded as you, Dr. Reed.
What's going on between you and Nurse Hawkins?
Pippa's tired. Tired of all this shit. Tired of all those corpses piling up. She's as depressed as I am.
During the war, I witnessed a few couples just like you come together in difficult circumstances. It can be very damaging.
Maybe you're right. But we support each other. And that's all that matters.
You do realize you could both get fired. Hospital staff are not meant to have intimate relationships with one another.
Come on, Dr. Reed. Do you know how many rules are broken in this hospital every day just to keep it running? There's nothing wrong with what we're doing.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Alright, I gotta remember he has the shotgun, but it's like expensive. I gotta get enough money to afford it.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised. But I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
This game has its flaws, but I like it. She's not, looking directly at me. And her robot dance earlier when she was stuck.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
An invisible enemy? Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them? Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett's. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Alright. I need to go make some stuff for fatigue if I have it, and evolve, and give medicine to Clay Cox.
It's locked, all right.
A long letter. Birmingham, October 27th. Hello, sis. How are things in the big city? Here in Brum, things are not so good. It seems the flu is here again, and we have many new cases of infection in the neighborhood. Do you remember Mrs. Scheller, or Miss Scheller? The old drinking hag from the 3rd floor? She passed away 2 days ago, and her flat is already occupied again. Jeez. You would have to pay me a huge amount of money to sleep in the bed in which a woman died of the flu just a few hours ago. Sorry, I did not take the time to quickly answer your last letter. Between taking care of little Paul, Mom, Dad, and my job at the factory, I really find time to write to my favorite sister. By the way, my son says hello to his Auntie Peepa. You should see the little booger. Already driving me mad. And Mom says you bring back some of those marvelous cakes the next times you come back home. In your last letter, you told me you thought about quitting your job at the Pembroke Hospital. I have to tell you, Pip, you better think twice. There are always jobs at the factory, but wages are shit. And it's as boring as a day without a shag. Oh, I have a new fiance, and no, I'm no slut. You moral bitch, you. So, if you really want to quit and do something more useful than counting the dead every morning, maybe you better stay in London and join that band you told me about. The Guard of, or Priven, or something like that. Never heard of them, but they are, like as you said, some sort of civil militia trying to make a difference. Then maybe it's a good choice for you. Just be sure to let the others join the front. That's how my poor Billy got killed in France, by leading too many patrols. Bloody war. Anyway, come back as soon as you can and give me all the good news before that. I am your affectionate sister, Lucy, Paul, Mom, and Dad.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
Pippa, I know you're very close to Milton Hooks.
Yes? Milton Hooks is my man. If you want to report me for that, just feel free, Doctor.
I have no intention of reporting you, Nurse Hawkins. But are you aware of the risks?
The rules say I won't be allowed to work as a nurse anymore. But here at the Pembroke, we break rules all the time.
Is he worth the risk?
Hey, I'm no perfect woman, and Milton is not the finest bloke. But we do our best to get by. That's all any of us can hope for nowadays.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You'd be surprised what dedication can achieve, Nurse Hawkins. In medicine, sometimes we're just a test result away from a miracle.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Right, did I ask your personal questions?
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Pepper, are you sure you want to leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream. But in the end, I don't feel that useful. I want more. I want to make things change.
You should be proud of what you've achieved. This hospital represents hope for many people in need of help.
Maybe you're right. But at the moment, I feel like we're just a cemetery waiting room.
What steps are you prepared to take to feel more useful?
I don't know yet. My sister believes that the real fight is in the streets nowadays. Maybe she's right. Maybe this is what I must do.
And what about Milton Hooks? Does he share your point of view?
For Milton, any change means more comfort and more peace. I disagree.
If you feel that saving lives is not useful enough, perhaps it means that you've lost faith.
On the contrary, my faith has never been stronger. Maybe we are all just too proud to face up to the fact that science cannot compete with God.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Alright, let's go upstairs. So this game is a lot different than some games that I've played. You have to go around and talk to the different characters. They all have their own personalities. And you have to get information from them and search for clues and information to get more information from them. Let's go over here. It's able to make 1 bottle of serum of fatigue. Oh, hang on. Still need one more common trigger part, which I don't have the money to get. Alright. Almost time to stop the recording again. 2 hours goes by fast. That's weird. Usually this door's open. I guess I have to go in there from outside to open it from outside. Bring the medicine to Dr. Crane in the patient's room.
You are going to reveal all your secrets to me, even the darkest thoughts in your heart.
My blood and soul, they belong to you now.
The life running in your veins. This dead flesh needs it.
Oh, please spare me, Dark Queen. Spare your obedient slave.
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
I was trying to talk to the, what's her name? There she is.
But the suffering continues.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft.
Howcroft.
How are you?
Howcroft.
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
I wish I could be sick again. Feel my blood boil with the fever.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place, and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the dockers' trade union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke. Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
All right. where Miss Jones is at. She's a lady that's been in this hospital for like forever. And I didn't know about her until they told me to go talk to Miss Jones. It didn't go on in this hospital without her knowing about it. I guess the door's locked until that becomes available. Thought I saw something flashing under the curtain. Alright, let's go talk to Clay Cox again. I'll go to this mission over here first. To the nurse. Is she over here? No, she's on the other side, I guess. Since we're over here, let's talk to Clay Cox.
Hey, Doc.
You're lucky to be alive, Mr. Cox. I hope you're starting to take better care of yourself.
This place is full of sickness and decay. How could I get better in such a dump?
Consider yourself lucky that I'm treating all of my patients equally. But don't push your luck.
Don't play the innocent with me. I'm sure you have good reasons to act this way. And also weaknesses that can be exploited.
He's such an asshole. Alright, he's fully, well, I lost on that hint there. I chose the wrong thing, which I'll try to choose it the next time I play through the game. Why not? Show you what happens here. Mesmerizing.
We've dodged death so many times. Oswald, you can't just die like this.
Go talk to that other guy here in a moment. Yep.
I killed, extorted, stole. Now I die. Fuck it. I live the way I wanted.
I got about 1,000 points or 900 points for killing him. But you have to be careful. Really be careful who you decide to kill, because it has consequences in the story. Talk to this guy.
Please, sir. I need help bad.
What's going on?
I'm Blight, sir. Newton Blight. I've lost my mate. Can't find him anywhere.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed from the Pembroke Hospital. Please, calm down and give me more details.
Oswald and myself were both infantry, sir. We were en route for the hospital, but... well, we had a disagreement. And Oswald ran off towards the canal.
How long have you been searching for him?
I can't go there. Too many rats by the water. Fucking rats. Can't stand them since the war, sir. Can't stand them at all.
Don't be ashamed, Mr. Blight. Many soldiers who survived the trenches suffer from musophobia. I'll see what I can do for your friend. This is a dangerous part of town. What are you doing here?
We were looking for the Pembroke Hospital. We both need help. Treatment, I mean. To get some sleep. Just need to feel better, sir.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm Oswald's best friend. We served in the same regiment, sir. We've taken care of each other since we came back from the front.
What can you tell me about your friend?
His name is Oswald Thatcher. We survived the war together. Oswald is nervous and quite fragile since we came back from the war.
Where was your friend the last time you saw him?
He went down by the canal. He didn't want to go to the hospital. I think he went to the sewers on purpose. So I couldn't go after him.
I have all the information I need for now. If I find anything out about your friend, I'll let you know as soon as I can.
Thank you, Dr. Reed.
I can't go there yet. Alright, let's go to the... Bring the medicine to Dorothy Crane in the patient's room. Well, the door's open again.
Yes, Doctor?
Exactly how bad is the supply situation here at Pembroke?
It really depends. Dr. Swansea deftly works his society contacts for monies, but with the quarantine, well, we're in God's hands.
Please, could you point me in the direction of the morgue again?
It's the large boarded-up building behind the hospital. You can't miss it. The key I gave you will open the small back door to it.
I've already been there.
Why then do you always work the nights? Don't you ever sleep?
At the Pembroke, we're always hands on deck.
Your dedication to the Pembroke does you credit, Nurse Crane, but when do you sleep?
We staff get our sleep when we can, Doctor. Nursing is a vocation, not the labor of a journeyman.
Lack of sleep and the medical profession always ends in disaster. I've witnessed many a colleague succumb to stimulants to fight exhaustion. Drugs were as deadly as bullets in the trenches.
London's trenches start here at Pembroke Hospital. We are on the front line, make no mistake.
That's all for now, Nurse Crane, thank you. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No.
Really? Why are you here, then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir.
Fatigue. I'll have to make some more medicine.
Doctor.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
I think he uses his vampiric powers to make people share truth about something that they normally probably wouldn't talk about. If I know, like if he knows something about the person, you can kind of hear it, the sound of his voice kind of changes when he says,
I'm alright.
Tell me about this, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, what's going on with this? And they tell you. But they don't realize that they're being forced to tell you the truth. They feel like it's their own free will deciding to tell you the truth.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
My sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
Alright, we go back to the, my room. Yep, choose wisely. There will be consequences to your choices, who you decide to kill for XP, to get that very big XP boost. Let me go to my room from outside, because The door was closed. I can figure out what side it's on. Oh, it's up there. Okay. And now it's open. See that shit? It was closed earlier, now it's open. Let's see if I can make any medicine. Nope, I need more sodium hypochlorite solution. I have 64 shillings. Let me go see that doctor that watches the morgue. Let's see if I can get some more hypochlorites or whatever it's called to make more fatigue medicine.
This is a poor hospital.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again. Please show me what you have to sell. Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
So 17 coins or shillings for that. I think this is what I need.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Okay, I haven't found any more
Goodbye,
information.
Mr. Chidana.
On Chidana. Alright, back to my room, make some fatigue medicine, give fatigue medicine to the kid. And then I'm gonna stop recording probably for the rest of the day. And I'll play some more of this next week. Or tomorrow. I might get on tomorrow and do it after around 11 o'clock my central time. If you're able to watch around that time tomorrow. Let's see. Yep. Yep. I was only able to make one solution. Alright. There's no fast travel in this game. If I want to go to different districts after after I've gone to a district, I can't fast travel. I have to run on foot. So traveling is a bit time consuming on this map.
Or never. This dead flesh needs it.
Oh, there's more solution right there that make more fatigue medicine. I'm gonna talk to Swanson.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm okay.
So tomorrow, I'll get on about 11 o'clock Central Time. And I'll play for a couple 2 to 4 hours, like I did today.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
And I've gotten further in the story on the other playthrough, and the story is starting to get pretty intriguing on this game. It's a bit slow, but I kind of like it.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
Alright.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
I go talk to Edgar Swansea, and then I'll stop the game for the day. I'm probably gonna play my other playthrough off camera.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea. But my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
It may seem strange, but your words have brought me some comfort here.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
you get a small amount of XP for completing objectives, storyline. I just got 100 points of experience just talking to Dr. Swansea. You can get through the game without killing a single person, like taking their lives, the people that you interact with, but you won't get much experience. You won't fill up your skill tree much during the playthrough. But I think this playthrough, I'm going to kill just certain people that are probably criminals, that are just complete utter assholes. And maybe one playthrough I'll try to get through without killing anybody. One day. Can't go up there. Alright. This door is locked. That's Dr. Swansea's office. Let's go down this hallway. It's funny that this stuff is more available through the link now and offering supplies to make medicine. I wish I had a cheat code to give me infinite cash, or like the maximum amount of cash you can possibly hold in this game. Recovering. Okay. Bless you, Jack. Bless you. Jack sneezing over here. Bless you. Goodness gracious, this sneezing machine. Whew. You okay? Sneezing like Mama does. You okay? He sneezed like 4 or 5 times. You okay? Something getting in your nose? Something getting in your nose? Ain't you, man? Alright, man. I'll be on tomorrow. 12 o'clock Eastern, I think it's how it is, 11 o'clock Central. I'll send you a message on Discord when I'm about to start broadcasting, or after I start broadcasting, one or the other. Thank you for hanging out, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story so far in this game. And I'll see you tomorrow, dude.